Fallout 76. The franchise's awkward conspiracy theorist uncle that comes to every family gathering, drinks a little bit too much and struggles to read the room and rants about cryptids. But despite the game's less desirable qualities, what is the all-too underrated, subtle genius of Appalachia that always leaves me wanting these country roads to take me back home? Welcome to Lindsay's Fallout, where I always want to warn everybody about spoilers because I never know what's gonna come out of my mouth. And everybody's got a different spoiler threshold. We're gonna look at all sorts of stuff from 76 today, so if you don't want any of these surprises ruined, be gone with you. I mean, you're invited, of course I'd rather that you stayed, but I don't know, I just don't like upsetting people. Speaking of me not liking upsetting people, enjoy these house rules, little comment terms of service I threw together. If you actually pause and read this, impressive. But it's really there because it makes it easier for me to respect my own boundaries. And on that note, let's take a break from a lot of the heavier social justice-y topics and themes that we've been discussing the past few weeks and just have a silly time. A 76 kind of time. A fun and pointless time. So in Fallout fandom, playing 76 is kinda like doing anal. Plenty of people get a big kick out of it. But for everybody else, there comes a certain point in time where, if you haven't tried it by now, you're probably never going to. It's just not your thing. So I have no illusions that this video is gonna result in any converts. I do, however, want to shine a spotlight on something incredible about this game that I've never even seen the die-hard enthusiasts talk about. And that is the environment design. The artistry behind the terrain shaping, buildings, set dressing, lighting pass coordination, texture work, clutter placement, visual storytelling through props. The level design, how spaces flow, how they connect, gate progress, layout logic, and the lighting, the mood, the fog and the volumetric lighting going through the fog, the sunset tones. I mean, nobody likes to hear about a new game having a gigantic map only to explore a bunch of procedurally generated shit, but this is not that. There are a lot of very creative people who are going apeshit on this game, and nobody's talking about it. Until now. Right off the bat, it was hard to decide what locations I wanted to talk about. I have over 1,000 contributions to the independent Fallout wiki, and every single one of them is location pictures. Luckily for that reason, I had already put together a collection of my favorite photos, so I was like, cool, let's start there. Which locations did I take the pictures that I like the most? So I pulled together a selection that goes all across the width of the map. But first, let's go on a little bit of a journey, because I want to tell you, I wasn't in love with the locations immediately. So I got back into 76 when the Wastelanders update came out. Human NPCs were brought back into the world, and it presented the Settlers and the Raiders as competing factions. The Raiders settled at the crater, which we will come back to, and the Settlers, the civilized ones,
come on in. Everyone is welcome, so long as they don't cause any trouble.
Had Foundation. So I was expecting Foundation to be like the Diamond City equivalent, and it is not. Diamond City in Fallout 4 might be my favorite video game village city settlement of all time. You just can't beat the aesthetic of it. Everything I love about the look of Fallout is represented in Diamond City. And Foundation, it's like, the letters match? What are we even doing here? I love a lot of things about the way it's structured. Like, I love the different levels, the stairs and the hallways. There's a lot going on. And now it's one of the places where you can bump into the ghoul. He's not gonna talk to you much though. He's just there to send you to Highway Town, which we will talk about. And I hate the dialogue that he does because he's like,
got no time nor inclination for chit-chat.
and I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean you don't have time? Every time I see you, you're just standing doing nothing with your foot on a body, either here or at the crater or at 76. You're not busy. You're full of shit. What are you doing? Are you holding the bodies down with your foot? Are they gonna fly away? Are you waiting for somebody to come help you carry it? You're not busy. Anyway, that's Foundation. Has some positive qualities. But man, it lacks style, doesn't it? I'll tell you what location doesn't lack style, and that is the White Spring. Another one of the main earlier locations. It's a luxury resort that is tied very deeply with the overall lore and story of the game. There's a bunker underneath, it's kind of a thing, and it's got a shopping mall in it. It's basically the most convenient place to buy and sell shit. Free fast travel. I'm so glad I got pictures of what huge empty parts of the inside of it looked like before the refuge moved in. It's like a time capsule. Anyway, the White Spring is hideous. Not even in a so ugly it's cute way. The place is eyeball murder. I was like, these rugs, this wallpaper, this furniture, what are they even? What is this? But what do you know? It's based on a real place called the Greenbrier, and the Greenbrier looks just like it. Oh my god, people pay to look at this in real life. And now I'm like, psh, I don't blame them. If I saw a place that looked like that in real life, I was like, oh no, we're not changing this. this. The world needs to see it. Y'all, I love ugly things, but this crosses a line. So thus concludes this section of the video where I talk about locations I don't like. It's a contrast point. Like, I saw those two places and I was like, maybe the locations won't be a big deal. And then I saw what I will now share. Let's start in Burning Springs, since it's new and shiny. Shiny because of pre-war corporate chemical dumping, but you know, silver linings. There's a great opportunity to talk about level design here, so let's take a walk from my camp to Highwaytown, where the ghoul is still too busy to talk to us, but not as busy as he is standing on bodies everywhere. God damn it, I love this robot dog, but he is constantly leaving the gate open, exposing us to hordes of rad hogs, and poor Beckett has to take those fuckers down by himself because I'm busy. Close the door behind you, robot dog.
Funky Death Claw reminding you to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Now, when you're headed toward Highwaytown for the first time so it's not marked on your map yet, there's some cool things that happen that kind of point you there. You'll naturally end up finding this rut in the dirt, pretty clearly marked by Rust Raider heads on spikes, very Raider chic. And if you stay in that rut and point yourself north, you'll start to see Highwaytown slowly reveal itself in the distance. Something that stands out pretty quickly are these like balloon fan things that are floating in the air and sort of attached to the structure. Don't quote me on this, but I'm guessing that's some sort of air purification system left over from the mass amounts of abrasive pollution that has made this area the way it is. And as you continue and approach Highwaytown, the game does an excellent job of pulling your eyes to different exploration options. After taking a quick pause to say what's up to Pop, of course, I wanted to see how it looked if I take the route through the destroyed on-ramp. And I stopped and noticed this beautiful view overlooking Burning Springs. Just look at it. Look at the church up at the top of the hill in the background. This was so gorgeous I had to stop and switch into photo mode and grab this cinematic style because my god, I just accidentally stumbled on this. And look how intentional it looks. It looks like it was framed for the Amazon show. And as you keep marching forward, you see all these metal catwalks and graded walkways, multiple levels of scaffolding connected in a manner that looks not safe to walk on whatsoever. Great perk of video game locations is you don't have to worry about dangerous physics. And then you get to this gorgeous courtyard that I'm honestly looking over for ideas for my own camps. And all the yellow safety railings, the mesh barriers, the pipes, the cable conduits, details like a pulley hanging from overhead rigging cables, and the tight walkways into living spaces, they all give this feeling of function and form. People live here and do work that needs to get done here. And it gets even better once you get indoors. The first time I walked into Highwaytown, I was like, okay, these people definitely saw Dogtown in Cyberpunk 2077. And it's a similar situation. It's also kind of comparable to Good Neighbor in Fallout 4. The idea is it was founded to have no formal government, kind of in this moral gray area between the raiders and the settlers. Disputes get settled in rooftop fistfights, and troublemakers just get shot. So mercs and bounty hunters are like, this is my kind of place. And it's where you can find the ghoul if you want to not waste his time and do business. The big bad of Burning Springs, the Rust King, really wants Highwaytown under his control, but the people are hanging on to it for now. The interior reminds me so much of 90s sketch comedy shows that were shot in front of a live studio audience and had sets designed to sort of emulate urban street corners. Like I'm thinking about Roundhouse on Nickelodeon or In Living Color. A few years back, Bruno Mars had a music video for the song Finesse that also emulated this look. Despite being enclosed, it uses street lights and it's sitting on top of a road, and that kind of enclosure, just like a live studio, allows total control of light. And the sign over the last resort is just perfection. Not unlike the Hokey Pokey, this is what it's all about. It taunts us everywhere with car-themed decor, reminding us that in the Fallout universe, a car is a decorative item and it will never be driven, ever. I could probably talk about Highwaytown this entire video, but there's so many more places to look at. Another Burning Springs location that really stands out to me is the Chop Shop. It's funny because recently, me and a friend were wondering, are there any cannibals, like other than the cannibal perk card obviously, in the Bethesda side of Fallout lore? And apparently there definitely is now. So the Chop Shop was formerly a Buckeye diner attached to a Red Rocket garage, and they were secretly serving human meat before the war. You can pick this up through customer complaints, notes, there's a creepy basement, but now post-war, it's occupied by the Rust Kingdom, who continue this cannibalistic venture in an overtly Fallout Raider fashion. And while you might expect me to showcase a flashier, more attraction kind of location like Dino Peaks, I like this one because of its cross-section of so many Fallout-y things. Old destroyed pre-war signs and cars? Check. Iconic brands like Red Rocket? Check. Raider paraphernalia like heads on spikes. Remnants of a horrifying pre-war backstory. The rotting carcass of a charming retro establishment. And some other fun rotting carcasses as well. And beautiful, well thought out fog and lighting and set dressing, keenly distributed throughout the whole thing. It's the most Fallout-y of all the Fallout locations. 10 out of 10. Fun for the whole fucked up family. Now let's back out of Burning Springs and take a look at locations that have been in the game a lot longer. When the Wastelanders update introduced the feud between the Raiders and the Settlers took over the underwhelming Foundation that we already talked about, but the Raiders set up shop inside the wreckage of the fallen Valiant 1 space station. It's a Raider settlement built around a crashed space station. And that was such a fucking cool idea. All the wreckage is adorned with these classic Raider red tattered banners. There's gear and toys and musical instruments and stuff like that strewn about everywhere because Raiders like to party. The ghoul is here to lie to us and tell us he's busy when he's really clearly not. Bodies hanging from spaceship parts. And because we're in the Toxic Valley region, all the water is irradiated and poisonous, so it glows. And so everything has this unnatural yellow underglow that makes it all feel kind of weird. Speaking of which, any ghoul players out there, this is a great way to keep your glow up. Hoard that shit. Toxic water. You're welcome. And no matter where you're standing, no matter where you turn your head, there is something interesting to look at. Something keenly positioned with layers and parallax that makes it feel like you're surrounded by a rich, complex, high-activity environment. I've taken so many pictures that I love here, and I am far from done. Speaking of me taking lots of pictures, you won't believe what location I have taken the most pictures at. It's ridiculous. I must have gotten on some sort of hyperfixation binge one night and just couldn't stop because I don't even think that this area needs this many pictures on the wiki, but you're welcome. We are talking about one of the earliest game locations, the Morgantown Airport. It's in the forest region, and it's one of the major landmarks that you're naturally going to push toward after leaving Vault 76. The idea is that after the bombs fell and the responders started to, respond, it served as a triage center and training hub until the scorchified everything and made a mess of the place. There's plenty to look at on the surface level, but it's when you get deep in the airport that you start to see the really cool shit. There's dark blue weathered wallpaper all over the place, some of it patterned, some of it not, and the windows are either boarded up or virtually non-existent, keeping the light really controlled, drawing your eye from one spot to the next, and the carpets tend to be really dark too, and they're covered in this really detailed rubble. And while I'm not solid on the lore explanation for this, who doesn't love a vertibird crashed into a wall? I know I do. Complete with sparks flying out of it for why, I don't know, I don't care, looks cool. I mean, I hope there's an explanation for everything in here that I just don't remember, but regardless, it builds intrigue. It makes you wonder what the hell happened here. And if you happen to need to take out Scorched for your dailies, this is quite the scenic route to get her done. Now let's talk about Charleston, which sits right on the border between the forest and the ash heap. This is a major spot lore-wise, and there's so much to look at. We could talk about the train yard, we could talk about the courthouse, we could talk about the Capitol building, we could talk about the fire station, but so I'm just like, let's just talk about Charleston as a whole. If you want to look at a lot of fucked up, destroyed shit, this is your hang. I'm pretty sure it was like a major hub for the automation riots pre-war, and then after the bombs, it was another central reconstruction hub for the responders. But the rich jerks who survived the bombs at the ski resort didn't want to cooperate, so they blew the Summersville dam and destroyed everything. Something that tickles me about 76 lore is that the origin of the Raiders were the rich people. I wish I'd gotten this footage at a better time of day, because it is a stunning, beautiful junkyard of a town, and you don't want to miss the interiors around here either. But speaking of Summersville Dam, let's hop over to Summersville for a spell. Immediately you can see it's got everything you want from a classic destroyed Fallout East Coast town. We've got brick storefronts, faded signage. I love when they stick out so you can get that parallax when you walk by. Boarded and broken windows, metal fire escapes, torn awnings, cracked roads, debris, rusted cars, the works. Summersville's been there since the beginning of the game, but attention was called back to it with the Wastelanders update, thanks to the place I want to talk about next, which you can find in Summersville, and that would be Duncan and Duncan Robotics. So this spot was run by the Duncan brothers before the war, and after one of them died, the other, I guess, snapped? I think there are a couple different quests that bring you in here for robot-related shenanigans, but they really brought their A-game, making this robot showroom. When I saw the care that they put into positioning and lighting these robots, I was like, I need to take pictures of this right now. The last place I want to talk about in the forest region actually surprises me. If I hadn't stopped to notice how many pictures I took here, it probably wouldn't have crossed my mind that this was one of my favorite locations, but apparently it is. And that would be Orwell Orchards, atop its associated bomb shelter. At first it looks like your typical struggling family farm, bowled over by the apocalypse. but dig deeper and you will learn about Ian and Cheryl Orwell and their backstory, where Ian secretly sank all their money into a luxury bomb shelter that his wife, I guess, didn't know about until they needed it. So that was good news until they found out the hard way that it had terrible radiation shielding, leading to an unexpected bad case of ghoulification. Exploring the bomb shelter is where it really gets good. You don't usually see this amount of effort in these kind of bunkers in these games. There are these beautifully lit little mini golf stations, pulling the eye to their flagsticks. The hazy air creates this warm glow. The exposed pipes add to the authenticity. The decorative stand-up shrubs really speak to the amount of effort they're suggesting that Ian Orwell put into this place. And there's even a pool down here. That must have really pissed off the wife. Like, you put a whole pool down here without telling me? What the fuck, dude? There's a gym and a beautiful bedroom, a lounge with a stone fireplace, and a beautiful nursery. It really feels like people intended to live here, but the wasteland had other plans. And this video is quickly approaching the 15-minute point, which is where I'm trying to cut myself off so that this channel doesn't take over my entire life. I really hope this video does well, because apparently I could just do this forever. I'm looking at the list of the rest of the locations that I wanted to talk about, and I was insane. We're gonna have to split this into a part 2. I have 8 more on this list. 8. I have to pick 1. Okay, I've made my decision. Just for fun though, I'm gonna tell you what the runner-up was. You're not getting this one. You're only getting this one if you tell me in the comments to put it in the next one. And that runner-up was Watoga Underground. But nope, you don't get that. Nope, that was not our winner. Aren't you dying to know what the winner was? Of course you are, because I've built it up now. Showman's Pier on the Atlantic City Boardwalk. That is our winner. Let's talk about it. Brief aside, I'm actually a little embarrassed to admit that I have not finished Atlantic City yet, because these Expeditions map extensions don't have local maps. I mean, the whole game doesn't have local maps, but it's a particular problem in these Expeditions regions, and I have no sense of direction. I have been very outspoken and transparent throughout the years on this channel about how my neurodivergence interferes with my capacity to get good, as they say. It's a major point of vulnerability. That's why I talk about it so nervously all the time. So I literally cannot finish Atlantic City without help. So if there are any volunteers, we could pick a day, we could stream it, because I would love to finish this weird little story. Gotta talk about the boardwalk first, because this is kind of cheating. I'm kind of squeezing another one in there, but I can't talk about Showman's Pier without talking about the boardwalk first. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. I wish there was sense. Where did all the sense go?
The boardwalk reminds me of so many of my favorite video game locations. Places like Columbia in BioShock Infinite, Silent Hill 2, which I've been streaming, and somewhere else in the Fallout franchise, Far Harbor. Gotta say though, slightly prefer Far Harbor. Boardwalk is too clean, not enough details, not enough texture. Far Harbor has all the cool fishing shit everywhere. As does a place I was originally planning on talking about in this video that ended up getting cut, Fisherman's Rest. Yeah, fishing shit. But what the boardwalk lacks in fishing shit, it makes up for with, oh my fucking god, would you look at how gorgeous that is. Look at it. I was in the game with a friend when I saw this for the first time, and I was like, oh my god, I may never love like this again. And this is why no matter how hard life gets you down, you can't go numb, you can't shut off your heart, because if you do, you will go your whole life and never feel the way I feel looking at Showman's Pier. That fog though, that volumetric lighting though, the neon lights, the mismatched letters, that flawless composition. Who designed this? Who made this treat for my eyeballs? Seriously though, if this video got to any 76 environment designers, I would geek the fuck out. The inside doesn't blow my mind as much as the outside does, but I don't know, the video just feels incomplete without it. Or maybe I'm squeezing in another entry. Whatever, let's just do this. The entryway has some nice debris. It still feels too empty, too vast. This corridor starts to look more interesting, and what do you know, fishing shit. Can't get enough of it. And the main stage area kind of has the same problem. Too vast, too boxy, too empty, uninspired. It's like they blew their load on the exterior. Things start to get more interesting once you get into the arcade, but the walk into the arcade frankly looks like a camp, doesn't it? This hallway's great though. We have this centralized hazy light framed by these support columns with marquee lights running down the side, and not all of them are lit, which is delicious. And the arcade area is still vast and wide and boxy, but it has just a little more. Like, see how the red is contrasting against the blue, but the panel behind the Nuka-Cola rocket is like this textured green, and there's a pop of yellow on the billboard on the left side, creating this wide array of color range, but sticking with with that dirty, colorful Fallout filth, so it doesn't look like a kid's playpen or something. And there are so many arcade games, and they're interactable, and they can give you buffs. There's so much detail in the gift shop. But see how this area just has a richness to it that the front stage area doesn't have? So that's Showman's Pier. I freaking love it. And thus concludes what I hope is only our first Fallout 76 locations video. That was a blast. If you want to talk to me about Fallout 76 locations live, and I don't know, maybe if you want to throw some money at my face, come to the stream on Saturday. Until then, stay cool, ferals.